Welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker, and we've got a nice springtime green tea from China today that we're going to be looking at. It is it's one of the famous teas. It's often classified as a tribute tea. One of the teas that actually was set aside, the kind of tea set aside and sent to the emperor as a kind of tribute, a tax. Instead of gold, this tea was of good enough quality that it could be substituted for other forms of payment. It's from Henan province, which is not an area that is widely known for a lot of great teas. Like Fujian has several famous teas. Anhui province has several teas. So this one is a little off the beaten track, but we're going to talk a little bit about it and see how it stacks up. It's always great to uncover and find new teas. So that's one of the things that we're doing here together at Walker Tea Review. If you want to explore some teas of your own, then I encourage you to look at our future episodes page. Find some teas that you're interested in. Maybe get together with some other friends, and if you want to invest in some equipment, like this is called a, sometimes you'll hear this called a fairness cup or a serving pitcher. That's something that you may want to use, or the classic Chinese style gaiwan. We're going to get our gaiwan out here. This is about a 4-ounce gaiwan. I got my regular old teaspoon out here. And one of the things you're going to be noticing is that drawing out what some of the superior aspects of tea, superior and the inferior, there's a balance between drawing out what is good. So you want to experiment with those suggested steeping guidelines. Here we've got about a teaspoon. As you know, if you flattened it out, it fills up the spoon here, but that barely covers the bottom of our gaiwan. So we do want to add a bit more, and that gives a good covering of the bottom of our bowl. So now let's close this up just for a moment, because we do want to come back and give that a sniff and look at those leaves. Our water's been brought up to close to a boil, not a full boil, and it's been cooling here for probably about a minute, 45 seconds to a minute, somewhere in there. We're going to bring in enough water. We're going to swirl it around so that those leaves get coated, and they start to swirl around quite a bit. And then we're going to put the lid on it here, and I'm going to add just a drop or two more. We want enough water so that it sits, the water level rises just above that lid and creates a seal around the edge of the bowl and the lid there. That looks good. Okay, so let's now talk a little bit about this tea. This is, I'm going to put this back in for just a moment, because we do want to look at the nice tin here. This is ChinaChaDao's, formerly known, this is an eBay store, formerly known as the Chinese Kung Fu Tea Art Store. They thought that's quite a mouthful. We can shorten that to ChinaChaDao. This is their PremiumXinYangMaoJian. Okay. This is from, as we said, Xinyang is the town, village area in Henan province. Okay, 100 grams for $12.99. So we've got a $13 tea here. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this tea and talk a little bit about it. Talk about the dry leaf here, and then we'll go on the wet leaf and the liquor. One of the things I enjoy about smelling green tea, fresh green teas like this one, is that nice lemon zest type of smell coming off of it. You combine that with some of the green, sweet green type of smells. Almost like, again, close to something in between a sweet clover and a sweet pea blossom type of smell. Okay, so those are the dominant aromas coming off, and as we look at this leaf, you will notice these are delicate little tender little spindles, leaves, finely wrapped, rolled, very wiry, very thin wires there. Okay, actually that's a tip and a leaf combo there. Okay, so you have some buds there. These leaves are a bit of a, kind of like an asparagus, a deeper green, blue-green aspect to them as well. Okay, most of these are less than half an inch, so they're quite delicate. Average, well, I would have to bump that average up a little bit to say, around half an inch. Some of them are, quarter of an inch to half an inch. That's going to be your dominant, your main range of sizes here. Delicate looking leaves, wiry, thin looking, delicate, and quite nice looking. Okay. Moving along though, I'm going to go ahead and seal this up quite well because I do want to keep this fresh. So you've got your sealed, your foil bag there, but I go a step further, putting that in a zip top bag, and then of course we put that inside our tin, and that keeps all our light. Hopefully that regulates humidity to a certain extent and keeps the tea fresher. All right, let's talk about this wet leaf now. We're going to be pouring into our pitcher here. We're going to be taking our gaiwan, and first off, we still got a lot of water on the rim there, so we open it up a little bit, and that allows it to fall back in. We angle our lid, so that also gives us a nice even flow there. And this will keep the water from the hot water, near boiling temperature type water, from getting too close to the rim where our fingers are going to be. And you've got a finger here, an index finger here on the lid to hold it in place. And that has prevented, we have a small opening here which has prevented most of our leaves from slipping through. We got one or two that fell down here to the bottom of our pitcher, but that's okay. Let's kind of take a look at this. What you see here is a nice yellow color. Okay, vibrant, bright yellow. Okay, so that's a good positive sign. But let's talk about this wet leaf for just a few minutes. I'm getting similar notes that I find in a lot of pan-fired Chinese greens. There's that kind of green bean / lima bean aroma coming off, and that's some would even go so far as associating that with like a nutty type note, and that is a process that comes about from a process of rubbing and rolling those leaves in a big metal wok, a big pan. Still quite sweet though in its element. Not a dull canned lima bean type of smell, but a good sweet fresh one. So those are positive notes going into that. Again, our leaves still look quite delicate. There's a nice little tip or bud looking there. Okay, bright green. We've gotten over into a vibrant, nearly green yellow. Good. So that's a nice bright color. Most of these leaves are still haven't fully unfurled. You do get a few delicate leaves here and there. Like there's a leaf and bud tip. I'm going to leave that in there just because that leaf has opened up to a certain extent and looks nice. Okay. You're seeing mostly solid or whole leaf tips, buds there. So that's a good sign that you got good treatment. some ragged edges, but not a whole lot of ragged edges on these leaves, meaning they were handled well. Yeah, good color, good handling, good leaves are intact. So those are all positive notes. Pleasant smell coming off as well. Took that away a little too soon because we are going to go on and pour this. As we said, a serving pitcher is great if you are serving more than one person, because when you pour, the top of your liquor is generally lighter in aroma and color, while the bottom is stronger. And by pouring it into a pitcher and allowing that to even out, then you can distribute it more evenly across more than one cup. Okay. Still, some of that same kind of green bean / lima bean type smell. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. A note about ChinaChaDao and their XinYangMaoJian. A few weeks back, you have to go back, I think it's 1 or 2 weeks, we did look at their Supreme XinYangMaoJian. In comparison with that, one of the first things that really comes across to me is this one has a higher volume of astringency. Okay, so it hits a lot sooner, and it gives a stronger, drier feeling in the mouth. Having said that, you are getting behind that astringency, underneath it, you are getting some of those, it's almost like there is that kind of nutty, I don't associate it with nutty, but others say it's nutty. I feel it's more of a, almost like a baked green bean, like a green bean casserole type green bean taste. It's toasted, roasted, whatever, baked in there. So it's got that green bean element to it. Less so of the lima bean, which are present. Again, not as in balance with the astringency as, say, that Supreme that we looked at. The aftertaste still carries on, still gives a nice sweet texture, sweet feel in the mouth. There's a nice, fairly good body as well. My tongue and mouth still feel like there's this, it's a dry kind of coating, powdery type of feel, but yet it's not rough. It's still kind of solid, rounded, and smooth to a certain degree. So it's not watery, as you open your mouth and let the air in, it tapers off from that dry, any kind of off-putting, not really off-putting, but any kind of sour or bitter type feel, instantly cools into this kind of sweet feel to it. So that's a positive note to it. Nice flow, nice development of the tea as it's in your mouth. So when you look at this tea, you had delicate leaves that were a nice green color. You had, and those continued off into the wet leaf. They were delicate. They kept a nice bright green color in the wet leaf. The leaves looked like they had been treated well. The liquor itself, nice bright clear colors, not a flat, dull type of old yellow looking color. And so we had some aromas. Again, astringency was higher, so that means we would put this tea at around, my first reaction is 89. Good quality, not, again, this is why it's a premium and why the other one was Supreme. Still something, perhaps if there's a difference in, if that price point is important to you between the two, this may be a reason to choose one over the other. But again, both of them worth trying, worth exploring if these kind of tribute teas are new to you. Come back where we look at tribute teas and we look at excellent teas from all over the world. We also expose those that are a little bit weaker, and we share that with you here at Walker Tea Review.